Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Look, no face on today. I'm still trying to get this whole setup sorted. Right now, I'm actually sitting down right underneath the camera, which is here. And you might see that wobble from time to time. So it's still a work in progress. And I'm on the lookout for another 1080p or 4K camera within my budget to be a face-on camera. So what we've got here is another SS Players bat. This one comes from Christie in WA. He actually sent us in the magnificent Steve Smith New Balance last year because I really rate that bat. Before I start, I just want to ask you to think about, if you enjoy the channel, what the content I'm going to put out today, then think about what it says there: like, comment, subscribe, and also share it with your mates if you think that it's something worthwhile. Do all those types of things. They all help the channel. We're at 9,400 and something subscribers now. That doesn't mean that all those people actually view, but it's actually only represents maybe 33% of the audience. We've got another cigar case, just like, it seems identical to me, to the ones that DSC are using for their play bats. Just the only difference is it's got SS on it there. It's got the same carbon fibre texturing. You've got Serene up here. That is the bat there. And that's the sock. The sock is actually already falling apart. So yeah, nice one there, quality control. This is the player's bat, and it's got Sky on it, which is Suryakumar Yadav. It's sky blue with a graphic on it, imprinted inside it. There is actual texturing on the actual, hopefully you can see that there. I'm trying to position the lighting so you can see more stuff. And there's some nice texturing there. SS always do really well with their stickers. They're really top grade. Gone for laser engraving on the SS on the side here. And if you don't know, Ton is the same people. So sstoncricket.com. And we've got here the sticker coming down, coming into a V, and then a design here with the gold highlights here, which hopefully can come through nicely on the camera there. It does look all right. There is a bit of damage, a few dents here on the back of the bat. If you're the type of person who throws your bat inside of your kit bag, you're not going to even be worried about that. But collectors and people like that, when the bat comes in, they don't want them to be damaged, particularly when they're paying good money. Now, what was the cost of the bat? $1,150 with shipping. This is a fairly expensive bat. This is competing with, I guess, Legends from GN and some of the top bats from Kookaburra, as well as some of the other player bats and that coming out from other brands. So it'd be interesting to see how it actually holds up in the specs. Now, if you've ever wondered why I put a unicorn on the table, it's a twofold thing there. One is just a friendly reminder. If you have a good bat, there's no need to go and buy another bat because you've seen it on the channel and you've fallen in love with it. A good bat is a good bat. So don't chase unicorns, because there's every possibility that the next bat you get will be a dud compared to the one that you just sold to make up the money to pay for the more expensive bat that just came out. The other thing is, bat prices are going up and up and up. The other thing is, if you don't know my actual history with the channel, I actually started this channel on Facebook, and as I moved on to YouTube, my daughter was actually diagnosed with a terminal genetic disorder. So that was one of her favourite toys, and she still watches Go Jetters on ABC. So that's just to keep me grounded, what's more important in my life, which is always family. So that's what that's about. So you will always see that on the channel. It means something to me. We've got an interesting stain down here, running down the front there. Now, that was described when we did the Laver signature, because that also had the same stain. We wrote to, actually Hope from Wollongong, who owns that bat. I queried it. I thought, is that because it's been cracked during pressing and it's been glued or something like that? And no, James actually wrote back. He said, yes, that's true that some glues can actually look yellow, but it's actually caused when the cleft is dried. The natural tannins and colours within the the willow actually come up and create a stain sometimes. So it's just one of those things that can happen. So that's nothing really to worry about. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 grades. Nice slither of heartwood down the right-hander's outside edge, but it's actually the center of the bat where it's stopped growing. So the core, whereas the white sapwood is where the nutrients are getting carried up to the branches and things like that. And obviously, blemishes you see inside bats can sometimes come through the roots, or they can come through the branches, depending on how well the actual tree has been looked after, where it grows, all those types of things. There was a really interesting video I posted on the Facebook page from B3 Cricket the other day. Michael Blatherwick interviewed Jeremy Ruggles from JS Rights, and he said, what's the actual impact of, I'm paraphrasing, what's the actual impact of global warming on cricket bats? And he said, well, with warmer climates, the bats are growing faster, so you're getting a lot of wider grains, and the bat makers to try and chase these narrow grains is becoming harder and harder. I personally think, anything from 7 to 10 grains is fine. It does have a really nice bow, I like that. And there is actually, if I hold it this way for you, some definite concaving. Now the interesting thing that Christie said about the bat is that although it says it's a sky bat, it's actually got, if I can hold that in the right way and you can sort of study it, Rohit Sharma, they've tried to scrape off the bottom of the toe. Now, I didn't actually bother to go and have a look what profile shape that is. Maybe somebody wrote the wrong name on it. There's a lot of wood taken out here and a lot of wood taken out down here. So all that wood's just sort of right in the middle there. Get the gauge out and we'll put it through. And immediately it's just sort of making it through the gauge. It is narrower than the gauge. I'll show you that from this way. You can see that there. So it's probably clearing it by a couple of millimeters, and also on the face, because that gauge has a 5mm camber. It's SSU is more of a flatter face camber, maybe a 3, so it's a couple of mil there. I would expect this to be about 65mm when we actually measure it, if I remember to do that, unlike the first time I filmed this damn review. Let's go through with the gauges and see what we're actually got here. You can see that that's zeroed, and I will just bring in my little bat holder thing for a second. Just keeps my hands free while I do this. And I've got 14.3 at the edge of the shoulder and 33.9. So it's almost getting down to what that DSC Aussie was like. Now I do expect to see this is about a 40mm edge. There is actually an attempt to do some boning on the face of it. It's not left sharp. So 38.9 might get to 40 somewhere along here. I'm sure that's all they're trying to do, is give you an edge that looks like 40. That unicorn was sitting on the table for a reason, 26. 30. Let's measure the spine. Bigger calipers out. I do thank whoever suggested me getting this, because I used to bugger eyes around with some manual calipers. 66.4, so a fairly high spine. That slipped as I came off. So yeah, it was about 106.2 yesterday. So 4¼ inches is 107.8, but the law now says 4¼ or 108 millimeters across the face. So 1.8 millimeters. You actually get a ruler, or I do it like this, 1.8 millimeters. Hang on, we're getting there. All right, that's how much we're talking about. Yeah, it's not really a lot. So it's when I get cranky when I see 102 millimeters. I see this sort of amount, double, triple that I get a bit cranky, because I feel like, well, if the wood wasn't at the right density to make that weight in the first place, why did you take so much off to get it down to 100 and 2.8, 2.9? You should have just thrown it in with a cheaper Willow and left it as a heavier bat. No point selling players Harrow or Academy width bats, which 104 millimeters or even less for adult players. You're just wasting Willow on trying to create a bigger edge where they're losing 5 mil, which could be the difference between a thick edge and a thin edge, and being out 104.1, so 2 mil less. So they've sort of definitely done that thing. I've seen that years ago. The original Kookaburra Ghosts used to have this type of thing. So it's not anything new. It's just a weight saving measure. And the interesting thing, even though they've done that, this still has some concaving in it. So we've still got that 2 millimeters of concaving through the shape there. So not only are they trying to lose a little bit of weight, but they're also taking a lot out here and a lot out here. So you'd expect this to have a really nice pickup. So I'm just going to see what that's like. Yeah, it does. It feels light. It feels 2.8. Really, really beautiful pickup in the bat. Obviously enhanced because of all those measures that I've just explained to you. What does it actually weigh? Yeah, 2.9 dead. So it definitely picks up nicer than that. It's a really nice pickup bat. So, once you put the scuff sheet on, it gets prepared, edge tape, probably looking at about 295. Talk a little bit about the handle before I skip past and move on to other things. So underneath here, there's nothing, I looked at it yesterday, there's nothing actually special underneath here. Just got the standard SS handle, which is 3 thin rubber inserts. That's the thing you need to look at if you're trying to work out if you've got an SS, is the knob shape. Those are the types of key things. Obviously, it's got the SS stamp on the front. There's no indicators actually on the binding that I saw. It's got this interesting dimple effect grip. Probably would feel better with gloves on. But yeah, with basic hands, I reckon that would tear the bits out of your nice, expensive, fine calf leather gloves after half a season. Now, that's a round handle, so for a player shape. Is there any twist in it? There's a little bit of twist there. So why do we look at that? So basically, the thinner you make this area here of the bat, you're weakening the structure. So the more twist we're getting into the handle, possibility of stress on edges of the splice up here. That's where you start to see those cracks either coming up here through the tabs of the handle or cracking down the sides, because the actual handle and bat combination just can't handle that twist. But at the same time, a lot of the subcontinent players are very wristy, so they want that round handle. A lot of the international players like the thinner handle because they think it feels like they've got more control over their wrists and those types of shots. Yeah, it's preference, that's all it is. There's definitely a player that would love that bat. Now we better tap this up, starting at the toe. Just going to use the front camera. Actually, before I do that, I'll do you one better. I will turn on my second microphone. So you should be able to hear this a little bit better up there. It's definitely pingy. That's definitely a bit softer in the middle of the bat there, and it's definitely going to perform really well in the middle. So that's the bat. Thank you very much, Christie. He did fill in the questionnaire. He's been buying bats for nearly 5 years. He bought this off a guy on social media. If I get the link off him, I'll put it in the description. Played cricket with him in Perth. He also used to own the cricket clearance store in Melbourne, and he's moved to Sweden. So you may know who that is. He's saying excellent customer service. He collects bats. This bat is not for sale, even though some of the last bats that he actually purchased, he sold to buy this bat. So he's definitely got the bug, and all of us who've got it, you tend to look at the bats and go, oh, yeah, I don't really need that one. So you sell that one off to make a little bit of cash to buy the next thing. Plays suburban turf cricket, loves everything about the game from mateship to banter. So that's really nice to hear. Thank you very much, Christie, for supporting the channel. And remember, it's you, the audience, who actually make this channel possible, even though I've got all the equipment, because most of you are actually supplying the bats. I'm not actually a person who's selling you anything. I'm just giving you an honest opinion, trying to share as much information as I can about the bat in front of me. And I hope you do appreciate that. And if you do, subscribe. We'll see you on the next review.